the ears. Can you see that?
You see it now?
Yeah, it's good now. That was me.
Saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you drunk?
A little bit. It must be the mind only. That's all I have to say.
It must be my mind only.
Body only.
There's no alcohol.
Okay, so what I did is I was so confused that I decided to write down the steps of the argument to this point. So I'm going to say mind only, Majjhimika. Are you happy with that, or do you want to reverse?
No, don't.
Don't change it, right? Majjhimika, right?
But the Buddha taught with the flower.
Mind only. Okay, cool.
Mind only. Wait, what?
Yeah, you got it, Stephen. Focus.
No,
Got
but
it?
somebody said something else.
Punch him in the face.
Majjhimika is the flower.
Yes.
That's Majjhimika.
Yeah, so you say.
Mind only.
Okay, so I'm just going to read it for you, okay? Because I wrote it as a dialogue. In essence, so far, in the summary of what takes years in a monastery, which we try to do in an hour and a half, right? So these guys say to these guys, right? So, you say things are unreal, right?
Yes.
Who's that?
Mind only.
Who's that?
Majjhimika.
They say, yeah, duh, right? Unreal. Like we're all Buddhists, right? And they go, you're stupid because I can do something with things and therefore they exist. How can they be unreal? Right? And these guys say, that's not what we mean by unreal, stupid. Right?
There's so many illusions.
We say unreal means it's just not existing that way from its own side. Duh. Right? Got it? How can that be? Right? Why do they say that? Because something that's unreal to them doesn't exist, right? They're like, oh my god, it's not functioning, it's not real, it doesn't exist, how can it be? Because, you idiot, any idiot can see that it was your argument. Whenever 2 or 3 different beings come and see the same experience, they have different experiences. Duh. In that way, it's unreal. You okay with that? Yeah? Yeah. He goes, oh, it just comes from their karma. He goes, sounds okay. Can you prove it? Yeah? So now they're like, can you prove it? Right? He goes, sure, we can prove it. We actually see the illusion. Yeah? We see it as an illusion. We win. Yeah? And they're like, how can you see an illusion? And they say, oh yeah, duh, we stand in front of the pot and we see it like different parts, and we realize that we never saw a pot because we never saw the parts for parts. We were always lost in the projection of the karma, of it being pen or pot or whatever. But then at one point, we saw it all for what we actually saw, what the eye caught or the sound got. And that way we caught the illusion, we knew it was an illusion. Duh. Yeah? Oh, so that special experience that perceives an illusion is your mind, right? Right. Yeah? So, the pot is not real, and the mind perceiving that pot can't be real, right? He goes, right. The mind is not real like we think it's real, right? It's an illusion. He goes, right, I got you. He goes, do you? Yes, because you're saying things are an illusion, they don't exist. And he goes, hold on, don't you have an illusion in your little system? Yeah, it's a really good illusion. Do you see it so far? It's a really good illusion. Everything comes from our mind. The karmas that we have, that same energy is producing everything around us, out there, and in my eye, And that's our illusion. It's really cool, right? Because, but you're saying that the part of the mind, half of your mind is seeing the other half of your mind, and one half of your mind is an illusion, so you don't have a mind either, according to your stupid argument, right? And it's like, oh. You guys are as crazy as we are. And that's where we left it, right? Happy? Yeah, you understood? Summarize. Woo, I'm glad I did that. So, Walter asked me a really nice question that bugged me forever, right? Because our minds, in a deluded state, want to have self-existent things. So the question comes now, quite naturally, what's out there? We all want to know what's out there, right? We send ships into outer space. We dive things into the ocean. Yeah? We build electron microscopes that's $10 billion, particle accelerators underneath Geneva. We want to find the particle, the point at which everything comes. We're looking for it in a self-existent way. So then the mind only school really wants to know what the Majjhimikas mean. What is this slippery slope that the Majjhimikas pushing me into? Majjhimika, I said, right? Yeah. Pushing me into middle way. What is that slippery point? Is there stuff out there? Because the mind only school is arguing, if it's an illusion, it can't function, I'm lost. What do you mean? And just take it like a movie. Take the illusion to be like a movie. Who saw Kundun, for example? Kundun, the movie about His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Who saw 7 Years in Tibet? Okay, more people saw that? Okay. Did you go to the cinema? Did you see the Dalai Lama?
Yes.
Did your mind perceive the Dalai Lama? Was there a real Dalai Lama in the cinema? Was there a real Dalai Lama in the illusion?
Yes.
Was it a real Dalai Lama in the illusion?
No.
He was some actor, right? He was probably a guy from Sampa. Yeah. You don't know that guy. So the Majjhimikas say there is stuff out there. But then you go into this infinite regression loop where you say, if you leave it alone, like we did the thing, if you just leave it alone, you see pen. Not a problem, and it functions as a pen. And the cars that run you over will function as a car running you over. No problem in an illusion functioning. If you start, the Majjhimikas say, if you start digging, you're never going to find it. There is stuff out there. But as soon as you start digging in the movie and going, that's not the real Dalai Lama. Did you know that Kundun was filmed in Utah? And you go, I know that place in Utah. The illusion begins to get destroyed. And then you go into that part of the illusion. And what's that part of the illusion? What is the black or the colors that you see here? Are they really colors? Are these really shapes? If you leave it alone, it functions, the Majjhimikas say. If you start digging, you're in trouble. Why? You will never stop. Why? Because that shape has this round, curvy part, and then more of a curvy part, and less of a curvy part. Where did the curve start? Let's go curves. Did your mind perceive curves? Okay, let's go to the beginning of a curve. You see what I mean? You never, ever find it. Why? Because you can't remove your mind from the object. It's impossible to have an experience of something and not be there experiencing it. You are this universe. Each one of you is this universe. All of it. For real, not mental. For real.
So is there a condition under which minds can't exist?
Mind is infinite. No beginning, no end. Let me finish the class. I wanted to give you an idea about how an illusion functions. Like a movie. So, you might have a question. It says, summarize the argument of the mind-only's objection to the middle way's explanation of ultimate and deceptive reality. Do you think you have that now? How does the mind-only object to the Majjhimika point of view? I hope that doesn't have coconut. Hmm. The next level down. How can you catch yourself having the illusion? Let's go there. Because both of them have it, right? The mind only head says, I catch my karma ripening and seeing the stuff out there from the same karma as my eye consciousness catching it. It's the same seed, but we know it's an illusion. For them, illusion means it appears like it's out there, but it's actually the same karmic seed in my mind. And the Madhyamikas say, we say illusion is, there's no nature and everything is imputed. It appears like its nature is coming to me, but actually the nature is coming from me. It appears that way, illusion. It really is this way. Yeah? Two different views of illusion. Both of them claim to catch the illusion. So then the debate goes, how do you catch yourself catching yourself? I told you it was going to be like Inception. And the mind-only school have this thing called Rangrik, self-knowing, yeah? And I'll summarize it quickly because of time. From the mind-only school, which is not the way it is, okay? From the mind-only school, they say that at every instance you're having this dual perception of yourself looking at yourself and the thing you're seeing. Yeah? I have a perception of my mind is holding Hector about to eat the thingy and the thingy. And that's called Rangrik. This special pocket of my mind that has my perceiver sitting there, always catching what it's perceiving. Yep. And the Madhyamikas say, impossible. Can you have a simultaneous perception of yourself and something else? It seems that way, right? Like we think it is, right? Like I know I was there eating the thingy. What is this thing? Almond. I was sitting there eating the almond. I was there eating an almond. I have a perception of both those things. No? We believe that. Did you have breakfast? Who had breakfast? How do you know you were there having breakfast while you were having breakfast? No, seriously, this is where it's going. Because if we can prove that, let's go back, right? If you can prove that, you can prove that you can catch an illusion. If you can catch an illusion, you can prove that it is an illusion. If you understand how it's an illusion, you can undo the matrix. And if you can undo the matrix, you can make contact with that thing called ultimate reality that can free you from cyclic existence. That's why we're in a dream, in a dream, in a dream. Do you see it? So if we understand how you can catch yourself, how you can have this thing called self-awareness, Rangrik, from a mind-only point of view, they're saying, it's there. I'm there always, and I'm doing the thing always. I'm eating the almond, yeah, which just turned into a woman.
They have to be happening at the same time.
Do they?
Well, no, if that were correct.
Correct. From the mind-only school, it'd have to, yeah. And what would the Madhyamikas say?
Then you'd always be eating an almond.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How do you have a self-perception? This, Alan Wallace will touch on this. We touched on this at the, what's his name?
Alzheimer's.
Lama Doug. I've got Alzheimer's. No, I know I do too. Lama Doug touched on this at Alan Wallace's, with Alan Wallace's system. It's actually beautiful. How can you have a perception of yourself? Have doing something? What would the Madhyamikas say, by the way? Is Hector there having his almond? So here is almond. I'm about to taste almond. Is Hector there at that moment? at that very same moment, I tasted almond. Was I there? Did I have a perception of Hector while I was having a perception of almond?
No.
How do I know I had an almond? I just told you I had almond. How could I possibly know? How the hell do you know you're here?
Well, you perceived it.
I mean,
Really, ask yourself, did you have breakfast? Say yes if you had breakfast.
Yes.
Say, I had breakfast.
I
had two breakfasts.
You could have said it twice. I had breakfast, I had breakfast. There were 2 eyes and 2 breakfasts. Right? You had breakfast, you think. You were there having breakfast. How can you have you there whilst your mind is on breakfast? The Majjhimika school will say you can't have 2 things happening at the same time. There are alternating perceptions. And I remember in the 1997 course, do you all know Nancy Karen? She's one of the directors of the rituals, been here like centuries, yeah? Even though she's not that old. She went, hold on, Geshe Michael. Didn't you teach us to keep the 6 times book, which is predicated by us having a perception of whether or not we're keeping these vows? So I'm watching myself, I'm having a perception. You're telling us to catch ourselves 6 times a day having this perception. So there must be a state of mind that catches myself. Right? That was a really awesome question. I didn't think about it. I was sitting there going, oh yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah. Oh, I believe that now. I do. I remember going, I believe anything now. Please help me. And he says, think about it. From the Majjhimika point of view, you can't have 2 things at once. So it's a quick alternation. And some people, his answer was stunning, some people alternate faster than others. So you sit there and going, I've got to not lie. Yeah? And 10 minutes later, it's like, oh shit. So you go and write it down. And the path is to close that gap until you're in ground zero. You're like, zzz. So you're closing the gap, right? Perception, doing, perception, doing, perception, doing. Breakfast, me, breakfast, me, breakfast. From the Majjhimika point of view, it's saying we do this magic trick in our minds through deduction, creating a self, a sense of I, back there at breakfast. Why? I have a memory of breakfast. And I am here. I have this strong I, right? I exist. I am. And I've got a full belly from breakfast. I have a memory of, I must have been there at breakfast. I had breakfast. Not only are you inflating I each time, and your belly, because you're having double breakfasts, right? You're inflating this sense of I. And I think Doug touched on that at the beautiful retreat we had there. Yeah, the default state of mind that goes back into the past reconstructs me in it and everything about me in it. How beautiful is that? You've just found not only how mind cannot, at the moment, cannot stay in the moment without recreating the I was having breakfast. I had that almond. I exist. The world is out there. Sarah?
But then how does karma even function then? If that's not the case.
I know. How does it function? Alternating.
Right, but then how you would have to, there has to be a thing for when things karma. Sorry, but like
No, good.
I would think it would mean that's the only way karma can exist. Because it
there
is
had
all.
to be a perceiver to get the karma in the first place.
It doesn't mean it's not a perceiver, it's an illusion.
But karma is also an illusion.
It's
Right,
like all the
so-
dots, but make the picture. The closer you get to it, the more you see the dots.
Dots, and then the
They're connected,
subdots.
they're individual.
Steven,
Right,
you look
and,
like you're going to say something.
and like the I that you're talking about is the thing that you don't think changes, like the Steven, that's a constant. So
same
it's like it's
Steven.
like everything is changing always. I don't.
You're
like,
having it now, you're having it
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
you're having it now, you're having it now, and then you're creating this past me having breakfast.
Because it is alternating, you're always reiterating, therefore you're always reaffirming.
Can you see your
Therefore,
illusion?
there's an absolute quality. Therefore, the karmic pattern is what I'm putting out at every moment, 50 times a moment, 50 times a second, in terms of our time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm putting out in my karma.
I have a question. You said for perception, you can never have two perceptions at the same time. What about omniscience?
I said at the moment we can't have it. I was very
Oh, okay.
careful to do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Exactly to what you were describing, and I think I've mentioned this before, but a visual way to see this is every single moment is a sound mandala rising up that you're creating, and it's wiped away. Created, wiped away, created, wiped away. This is why how you see the world becomes the world.
And it's like 65 a second.
Boom. And it's fascinating to watch your mind do it. You're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. But this is where the practice and noticing and seeing that you have a choice. You can create how you see the world. But it's the karma to be able to do that.
Sorry, I just want omniscient. Steve was talking about omniscient, and you said something about moment.
Yeah, I ignore it for a second because I wanted to not talk about that. Because
Okay.
we're talking about catching ourselves in the illusion through an illusory state of mind. I didn't want to add to it the complexity of being a Buddha. Yeah? So, with this Rang Rik, with this state of mind that the mind only school have, that divides and catches itself doing the thing, right? That the Madhyamikas say impossible, you're actually imputing a self through actual deduction. Yeah? Through that debate, Master Shantideva uses the example of it's a famous example of a rat bite that has poison. Okay, so I'll just go through it quickly. It's got 5 parts. And the example is, you're a bear, it's me, hibernating. Right, in hibernation, sort of semi-awake, semi-asleep, yeah? And you feel a pinch, and you look down, half asleep, right? You have this vague awareness of being, but then you feel the pinch, and it's a rat, a poison rat, just bit you. You go back to sleep, forget all about it. You wake up, that's me eating breakfast in the morning, right? That's me and breakfast, yeah? You wake up from hibernation, and you think, ouch, yeah, like I have a taste of almond, yeah, and you say, ouch, you look down and it's infected, it's full of pus, the same place the rat bit you. And you have a memory of the pinch, and you say, ouch, that must have been a poisoned rat, because the poison turned into pus, and it was hurting my leg all those months ago. You see it? So we make a deduction that the rat had poison. Just like we make a deduction that when I was remembering breakfast, I must have been there when breakfast happened. Does that make sense? I think that's 4 out of the 5. Let's have a look. Being bitten by a rat, the poison entered your thing while you were asleep, but you weren't aware of it. I wasn't there doing it, right? I was in hibernation, so that was number 2. The poison has been experienced and caused its results, so I missed those 2. And then you wake up, you see the result, and then you make the deduction you were there. Yeah? And then the last argument, the last struggling argument from the mind-only school to defend their Rang Rik position, which we just dropped it down. And this is lovely. It's like, no, you misunderstand us. It's more like a butter lamp, like a candle that lights the darkness. It's like that. The Rang Rik is like the light that makes everything light. So And so it sounds nice, right? It's like it sheds light on everything. This is the Rangrik. It's aware of everything. And just like Rangrik, the light first, when it turns on, must light itself, and then it blankets everything else. And that was their stupid comment, which now Master Shandeva is going to destroy. Because first he's saying, hold on a minute, you said the light lit itself, like it illuminates itself, and once it's lit, it lights everything? What a silly example. They say, and then the answer from the Madhyamika is this. So you're saying that darkness can make everything light. Using that example, that same example you used, that a lamp must light itself, illuminate itself, and then it illuminates everything else, must mean, so it blankets everything with light, right? It blankets the darkness with light. Well, then you must say that dark means everything is light, because if darkness were working exactly the same way, it must first darken itself, yeah, which makes everything light, and then so when you darken darkness, right, when you remove darkness from darkness, you're left with, if you blanket out darkness, you only get light. So you're saying it's a stupid argument, right? Sort of a cute little, it's a joke from Nagarjuna. Anyway, it's funny, Nagarjuna. but from the sutra, like just the Arya Nagarjuna who saw him just directly and wrote all the text on anyway. But do you get that logic? It's like, if you're going to say that light lights itself and then blankets everything with itself, you could say something about dark. And dark covering darkness means there's no more darkness, so you're only left with light. You're an idiot. Yeah, it's just a Madhyamika, Prasangika way of getting somebody to think differently. But then Master Shantideva quotes the famous line from the Buddha that's saying, that Rangrik, the light lighting itself, it's just like saying a knife that cut itself. You can't have a knife cutting itself. That's an impossible thing. Your Rangrik is an impossible thing, just like a knife cutting itself. Yeah.
What is this a metaphor to?
The knife cutting itself.
Yeah.
And
It's a mind seeing it.
A mind seeing
yeah,
itself.
mind seeing itself in the way Rangrik says.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
which is the same thing. Having to thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, it's the same. It's saying the mind only school is saying Rangrik, the state of mind which catches itself, is the same thing. And then Master Shantideva goes, just like the Buddha said, a knife cannot cut itself. So that state of mind is impossible. It must be the Madhyamika state of mind that catches itself.
Because it's almost like there's a self-existent knife.
Exactly, yeah, cool. So, to recap, the only point of having this whole discussion of layer upon layer, let's go out of the 3-4 layers of dream state that we just went into and go back. The mind can catch itself, but not that way as the self-existent mind catching itself, like a knife cutting itself, right? But yes, as a deductive state of mind that says, I did have that experience, and you can have the self-experience a millisecond after about breakfast. It doesn't have to wait till the afternoon saying, I was there for breakfast. You can have it like when you do your vows, minute after minute, second after second, right? A perception of yourself, catching yourself. Why was that important? Because if your mind can have self-awareness, if it can catch itself, then it can catch itself doing the illusion. And if it can catch itself doing the illusion, then it's completely possible for you to undo the illusion. For you personally to have a real experience that the way you've always experienced the world was not the way the world existed. It was an illusion. It was never coming to you from outside, forcing you to feel the things you feel and think the things you think, and conceive of yourself as the thing you think you are. You think you're just this. You're locked in the illusion. But where is the illusion coming from according to the Madhyamika's point of view? Your karma. And if you understood that through this logic now, if you understood how it is not only possible to catch yourself to the illusion, but understand that the illusion means your mind projecting onto an empty screen this sense of you. I am Flavian. I am a woman. I am this age. I have these limitations and I have these possibilities. Maybe it's too small, Flavian. Maybe Flavia is a complete goddess waiting to erupt. Maybe Flavia is not, but everything is possible in that state of mind if you can catch the illusion. You erase the self-existence, the world is your oyster. Then you're busy doing virtue. You're busy doing, how do I fill my mind with the right stuff, not self-existent stuff, not self-existent mind, that will necessarily force me to have a different experience to what I'm having right now. One that challenges the idea of aging, sickness, and death, and produces freedom and enlightenment and bodhicitta. And that's it. No more mind underscore. It's possible because you've just gone down the layers and understood how your mind can totally have this experience. And I hope it does, and I hope each of you do it. And if not this lifetime, the next. Congratulations. You're stepping through. No more questions. Let's go to it. Dedicate, first a mandala, and then let's dedicate to every single being that could ever be confused about why their world is the way it is. May they right now and for all time get a seed in their heart that will ripen and open into understanding completely. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamyasayami Nirogu Sunam Yashe Sokshin Sunam Yashe Junwe Ramba Thank you for dancing with me.
Please stay.